Hello, I'm Karen from KaarenWorldZumba, and this is the very first time that I've ever done this, so please bear with me. Many people have said to me over the past few years that I should talk about what I've done with my life and where I am today because of what I've done, but I've always thought that social media platforms was something that's passed me by, and I've always thought it was for the generation that I'm no longer part of. But recently my 14-year-old son, since the lockdown crisis, has said to me, "But Mummy, you should talk about that. But Mummy, why don't you tell people about that?" So I'm going to give it a go. I've done many things in my life. My main career for 20 years was the fashion world. I was a buyer for Burberry and for Jaeger. Also, I was a producer. And then I went on to become an actor and various other things. And now I'm a Zumba instructor. What I want to talk to you today is how, as a 19-year-old, I learned to cope with being thrown into the world of fashion, and how everything that everyone does is all about confidence. I don't use the word empowerment because I'm sick to death of the word empowerment, but I want to just teach you some little tricks and talk about how I coped when I was very young in a world that was very frightening. And that is what I want to show you today. So when I was very young, 8-9 years old, there was speech day at my prep school. And as I sat there bored, watching everyone get cups for this and that and the other, my name was called out. And I was thinking, gosh, I didn't think I was that good at netball or whatever it was. And I was asked to come up and receive the cup. And I got a cup for deportment. Well, I didn't even know what that was. So I asked my mother what deportment was, having no idea. My mother looked at me again, I think was equally as surprised as I was. There isn't a prize for this. Oh, it's about the way you walk. Well, you can imagine to an 8-year-old girl being told that I got a prize for the way I walked. Well, I'm very happy with the cup. And that brings me on to my second childhood experience, which has also influenced me the rest of my life. When you've gone into the room and you've been able to walk into the room and own your space and feel confident, inside your heart is probably thudding and you feel sick and the sweat is dripping down your back, which has happened to me many times. But I remember a little voice in my head, which was my mother again, when we first moved to a new area and I had to go to a party with all these girls I didn't know, and we met them like a week before at the new school, and I didn't want to go, and I said, I don't know anybody and they'll all be nasty to me. My mother saying to me, don't think about yourself, look for somebody else who also looks like they don't know anyone, and walk up to them and introduce yourself. Now this is really difficult to do, but if you stop thinking about how people are looking at you and think about, wow, that man or that young woman over there looks really nervous, and put yourself over to them to help them feel better, it really works. And I remember again at business drinks, walking in, hating it, not wanting to be there, and I walked up to another woman that was by herself and I said, "Oh, hello, my name's Karen. I work on the downstairs department. Sorry, this is the first time I've been here. Are you by yourself? May I join you?" And she turned around and she said, "No, actually, I'm the floor manager on the second floor. I was just waiting for someone to bring me a drink." "Of course you can join me. How lovely." The rest of the evening was fun and she looked after me. Yes, of course, she was a nice person, but it put her in a place, very difficult to refuse when someone says, "Would you mind if I joined you?" And again, she might have said, "Oh, thank you for joining me." I don't know. You never know, that's taking the risk, but you have to take a risk. And 9 times out of 10, the risk will pay off. What's for sure is that you don't want to stay in that lonely place at the front of the room, just walking in, feeling really rubbish and the sweat trickling down your back. What you don't do is walk in as if you're apologising for being there, which many of us have felt like we are apologising for being there. It's all about your shoulders, and this is where deportment comes into it. Because if you walk into the room like you own it, then people will look at you and think, "Oh, she's somebody or he's somebody, maybe I'd like to go and speak to them." So again, it's all about deportment, and that's the new word that you've learned today from that little girl who was 8 years old. One of the things I have done in my life is I trained to become an image consultant. Now that can mean many, many things, from being stylist to personal shopper to wardrobe surgery, but what I was really interested in is how to help people feel better about themselves. So it's not about what I thought looked good on them, it's what I thought would help them feel good about themselves. Everyone has their own personal style, so it's no good me saying, "Well, I really think you should dress like this because that might not be what you feel confident in. And it was about working with that person to help them work out who they were and what image they wanted to project, because we are always responsible for the image we project. So if we don't like the way people are reacting to us, we can also take responsibility for that and think, maybe I can change that. And one of the things that's really important is that you are correctly dressed for every occasion. So it's really important that you feel confident about your wardrobe, so you know that whatever you're invited to, whatever work scenario you're in, you will have something in your wardrobe which is right for you, but also right for the occasion you're going to. And it's nice to have a style that can either be more casual or more formal, more fluid, but it's right for you. So being correctly dressed wherever you are will help you give yourself confidence. There's nothing worse than going to somewhere and thinking, oh, I wish I hadn't worn that. And people often, this casually smart element, that could mean anything nowadays. I'm a great believer, if you're not sure, dress up a bit, because it's much better to be overdressed than underdressed. I once went to a ball and a good friend of mine came in a cocktail dress and everyone else was in full length evening wear, and she felt a bit wrong. I think it'd be better to go to a party where everyone's in dreams and you're in the ball dress, which you get talked about. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, that was the first time I've ever done this, and I have so much more I could share with you, as I had a 30 to 40 year career history, and many of which still applies today. So if you'd like to hear more, then please subscribe and comment below. You can also find me on Instagram, which is KaarenWorldZumba. And also I live stream my Zumba classes on periscope.tv/KaarenWorldZumba. So my Zumba classes, I live stream, and these will be live, and the video can still be viewed until I do the next video. And that's my way of helping people's morale and keeping some joy and smiles in people's houses while there is on this lockdown period. Thank you very much again. And I really hope that you'll join me for my next video. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but we'll see.